What is up, guys? JayFerGaming here. Welcome to another F1 2016 video. This is an interview with Lee Mather. It's through IGN at E3, and I picked this one just to show off because it's a very descriptive interview and gives you a lot of information about the upcoming game, and there's some decent gameplay, time trial with the Ferrari car, but the interviewer actually seems to know what he's talking about, which I think this one that gives him the edge, and this interview the edge over other ones. So yeah, here you go, an interview with Lee Mather from the Codemasters team, F1 2016. Hope you enjoy the video. Goodbye.
G'day and welcome back to IGN Live. Joining us now is Lee Mather from Codemasters Games, Racing Super Studio, to talk about F1. Lee?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, here this year talking about F1 2016.
Tell me, just quickly, just before we start though, I want to talk about Codemasters. From the outside looking in, things seem to be going gangbusters. You've got Dirt Rally, which everyone loves.
Yeah.
You picked up the guys from Evolution.
Yeah.
What's the vibe like there?
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Seriously positive at the moment. I mean, we've got such great feedback from Dirt Rally. I mean, you've seen it on the show floor again this year. Everybody loves it. Nobody's got a bad word to say about that game. F1 2016, the buzz so far has been immense. You know, we've had the community feedback. We've had the guys in the studio talking about the game. You know, so it's just absolutely amazing.
And I thought it was interesting what you said about how Dirt Rally didn't so much inform the direction of F1, but it kind of confirmed that people wanted a game that demanded more of them.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I think you've got to respect the fact that you don't dumb down a game for people. People, they appreciate, a challenging game. That's why you play games. You get the enjoyment of playing something that's challenging you and you better yourself. And you've got some direction, some real sort of something to get your teeth into.
Yeah. No. Speaking of getting your teeth into it, obviously the career mode is like the real meat of this game. And from what you went through with me yesterday, there's so much content. It's there's so much nuance there.
Yeah.
So like, just give us a broad overview of what people can expect when they dive in, and they've got to tackle this like 10-year career mode.
Yes, I mean the reason we've given a 10-year career is because we want players to look at maybe starting with a weaker team and building them up over the course of 10 years. But because it's a 10-year career, we wanted to get players to feel really invested in it as well and really invested in their character within the game. So, you get to create your own character at the start of the game. You pick an avatar to represent yourself, and then you get to select a helmet. And then we allow the customization of the helmet, because it's important that, it's very personal to the player. And then, as in the sport of Formula 1, you get to select a driver number, which is representing you on the grid, on your car, and on the garage. Those are all things that happen in the sport, and it's very personal to the player. So if you're going to be doing a 10-year career, and taking, maybe a Renault from near the back of the grid right to the top, you want to do that with you at the forefront.
And actually, while you touch on that, let's talk about doing that and how you incentivize practice in order to sort of create a way to upgrade the cars and the research and development side of F1, which is obviously an extremely important part of F1.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's multiple things that we wanted to do with the career this year, and one was to bring in some really cool environments. But in those environments, we wanted to bring in some characters as well, because Formula 1's not just about the racing, it's about the sport and the things around it as well. So one of the characters we brought in is an R&D engineer who will help you to develop the car over the course of the season. So you'll take part in practice programs during the practice sessions. So it takes what happens in the real sport and it gives structure to the session. So the player's always got goals, they're always moving forward, and all of that feeds into the R&D. And then the player can select the areas in which they develop the car, all led by this character who's, he's got your interests at heart and he wants you to improve the car. And if you're not working hard enough, he'll make his feelings made aware.
Yeah, right. I'll tell you what I liked about it is that, and I said this to you, it's kind of like, it's not trivial, but it adds that sort of context, gives you a bit of atmosphere, and it reminded me a lot of the old Pro Race Driver games, which have different names all around the world, so I won't go through them all. But yeah, you kind of, it makes it feel like you're a racing car driver.
Yeah, it's like I was saying, Formula 1's a very glamorous sport as well, which is why in the environment, we brought some of the characters in that you'll recognise. So people will be sat in the hospitality suite, which looks absolutely gorgeous. It looks like, the motorhomes that you see at the races. And there's characters who'll come into those environments that will be recognisable. And I say we've got the agent character who deals with the player. She deals with all of your contract talks. She'll deal with rivalries that are building up over the course of the season. And again, it's presented in such a beautiful way that it's more personal. You've got the on track where it's all battling, and then you've got the more personal element away from the circuit.
Let's talk about the really nerdy stuff and talk about sort of what's going on with the handling dynamics from the last version to now.
Yes, I mean, we were really pleased with how 2015 went. Everybody loved the handling. but we've further refined that. So we've worked on the wet weather handling specifically. We have a slightly different tyre model for the wet weather. So the cars do feel different. The lap times are very realistic compared to how they are in real life. We've also continued to refine the force feedback system. That's really important that the player gets the feedback of how the car feels when they're driving it. And beyond that, we've added wheel tethers. So, in incidents now, the wheels flail around. It's a part of the sport, and it looks very exciting when those sort of things happen. So we've pushed it even further with those.
So you come into work every day and you see this, you've seen this game grow and develop. What is it about it now that you look at it and you're like, yep, I think we really got that right? What is it about it that you're most proud of at this point?
I mean, there is a lot. I mean, the career as a whole is superb. But there was something that stood out to me today, which I thought was absolutely amazing. And we had 2 pods running, and on the left one, it was Montreal at sunset.
Yeah.
And the right one was Montreal midday, both of them raining. And the difference in the lighting, now we've got this new time of day system where you can race at any time of day. The sun coming through the clouds, through the rain, bouncing off the wet tarmac in the front of the car. It was just visually absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning.
And tell me, you guys took a lot from the community. What was sort of the thing that they were saying most, or at least loudest?
Yes, I mean we always take a lot of notice of what the community say, and this year we did get them involved really early as well.
Yeah.
We had guys in the studio a couple of months ago. First most requested feature was career. We'd already got that covered. Great. Second most requested feature was safety car, virtual safety car.
Yeah.
We're ahead of the ball with that one. We got that one as well, ahead of the game with that. So I think we were tracking exactly what the community wanted to see, and there's still more to come. And I think there's going to be some very, very happy Formula One fans out there.
Speaking of Formula One fans, you've got obviously the US team now and all that kind of stuff. What are your expectations in terms of that? Like in terms of how F1 might perform in the US now?
Yeah, I mean, we always find that when new tracks come along, they do generate some popularity in certain territories. But drivers are the big thing, and teams are the big thing, because people really get behind them and they really support them. And I can really see taking off even more in the US.
Yeah.
I mean, Haas it's a big name in the US in general, in motorsport and in industry. So I think the American people will really get behind them.
Yeah. Is there like a bit of rivalry sort of at Codemasters, because you guys work on quite a few racing properties in terms of who's doing better, who's creating a bit more buzz, who's sort of in the discourse? And
well, I mean, we come out at different times.
Yeah.
So it's always nice to be really proud of what the other guys are doing. But yeah, there's always that you want to come out and you want to be strong. But I mean, to be honest, it's just at the moment the feeling of positivity throughout the company is just unbelievable. We're really on the up.
Where do you, like with F1, right? What do we do next? Like, is there something that you got a roadmap, right? This is a license, and it's important to Codemasters. What's sort of on the top of the list?
Well, I think really what we're going to do now moving forward is really involve the community.
Yeah.
Build the game that we know people want to play. There's no point doing something that isn't going to be well received by people. We've got a very good idea of what we want to be doing with Formula One. And I think, it's the right thing for the franchise, it's the right thing for Codemasters, and it's definitely the right thing for the fans.
Yeah. And as you've been demoing it over the past few days, have you been finding people quite terrible at it, or are they kind of growing accustomed to it quite rapidly, or what's the...
It's been amazing, to be honest. Obviously, we've been playing it with race pods with the steering wheel and pedals, but we've got one of our guys on the Microsoft stand, and he's seen people playing with all the assists off, all the assists on, but ultimately, all of them able to get around the circuit and really enjoy the racing.
All right, man. Lee, thanks very much for coming in. It's looking really interesting. I really love the career mode. It's so deep. I think it's going to add a lot of reason to just keep playing and playing and playing.
Yeah. There's plenty of goals for the player. There's plenty of things to keep you coming back to each session. Practice is full of really useful and exciting things to do. It's very rich. You move on to qualifying and the race. And those sessions are already naturally very exciting. We've filled the rest of the game with really cool gameplay features as well.
Awesome. Cheers, Lee.
Okay, pleasure.
Stick around. We've still got a little bit more to come, so don't go anywhere.